Hi, everyone. I'm Shabri, and I'm going to help anchor the session along with my co-host Swastika. We are dispensing with very long introductions, etc., because the website already has some bit of our life and the work that we do. Suffice to say that Psychodrama just opened up incredible windows, doors, avenues for me, both for myself as well as the people that I touch. And I'm very excited to be able to share it with all of you. We also have some an amazing group of people who have volunteered. And so if you notice, we have several of us with our cameras on because we are the group of volunteers. And we're going to keep our videos on and actually do a couple of demonstrations. Over to you, Swastika.
Yeah, welcome everybody, and thank you so much for joining in. And I'm also, like Shabri, really excited about sharing about psychodrama, demonstrating some of it with you. Obviously, it's a lot of stuff, but we're going to try and demonstrate some of the core principles, and and I'm hoping that you will have fun as much as we do in the whole process. So look forward.
Thank you. Thank you. So in terms of you, I think many of you are probably familiar with this from a webinar perspective. Please keep typing into the chat pod. Keep yourselves on mute. I can see Magda's message on that as well. But please type out into the chat pod an insight, a question, and one of us, Swastika or me, will always keep an eye out on what's happening in the chat pod as well. Okay, I'm now going to shift our attention to our group here. Now, this is the group that we're going to be working with. And we already introduced ourselves to the fun things that we can do with gestures and hands. So I'm now going to ask you another question and work with me in terms of the gestures. I'm going to ask you about how excited you feel at the moment about being a volunteer. So if you feel really excited, a thumbs up. If you're feeling a little neutral, if you're feeling curious, yeah, and if you're feeling actually, so you have this, you have, and this or this. Let's see. And just hold that position. So look around the room so we can get a sense. Of course you could do a mix as well. Yes, why not? So there's a lot of curiosity, yeah.
And a lot of excitement.
And a lot of excitement and tinged as well. Yeah. So I'm going to ask all of you who said curious first. Anyone go, describe the nature of your curiosity.
Well, I'm curious because this is the first time I came across this term, psychodrama. Never heard of it before. And so drama, I understand. Psycho, I understand. But the combination of psycho and drama is something which I've yet to see. I'm all agog.
Okay. Thank you, Jagdish. And I hope we will be able to demystify a little bit. But at the end of it, if you arrive at a new definition, please share it with us. Yeah, for all of us. Thanks. Who else would like to share about the nature of the curiosity with which they're coming in?
So let me go next. I kind of understand it's a pretty action-oriented kind of, simulation or whatever that you want to call it. But I was very curious to see how in coaching one can really bring that. So to me, I was like, oh my God, you're going to sit today. Virtual coaching is what all of us are doing. How do we enable that and bring that into our space? Yeah.
And I think, Rekha, you probably speak for several people in the room who are maybe putting this in the chat pod as well, which is what binds us together is the work that we do in the space of coaching. And so today, as we're demonstrating psychodrama in a group, very often the origin of psychodrama and how it came up was in a psychotherapeutic group setting, but it can be leveraged in many one-on-one settings as well. The opportunities are limitless. Some of us may also be working as team coaches, and you might be able to explore how you could use it in a team setting or in a one-on-one setting, but we will be responding to that curiosity.
I can go next. And having now done coaching for so many years, we also study a little bit of psychology and all of that. And I am aware that there is a lot of drama going on inside, which we are not really aware of, probably, I think. And I'm just so curious to see how are we able to link what's really happening inside and bring it to the fore to be able to actually recognize what's happening inside. And that I think would be very interesting to see. And if that we're able to do, then, from work from the conscious mind. So I'm very curious to see how that mirroring can happen for us to see.
And you've used a beautiful term that we use in psychodrama as well, mirroring, but it is the psyche, the drama of the psyche. So yes, what's happening? Some of it we're in touch with, some of it we're not.
Yeah.
But how can we use a process to just let it surface and come out in action? Yes. And you have touched upon it. It is a very experiential, action-based approach. There was some people, I think some of you, Komal, do you have part curiosity? So please speak about your part curiosity as well.
So curiosity, I think everybody has spoken. It's, to see what comes out and to learn something new. And excited because it's an opportunity of action, right now, especially the spaces where we are in, we are mostly like just sitting and chatting, but to involve the rest of our senses and bring in some action is something which is pretty exciting to me right now.
Yeah. And Komal, you bring in a great point about the context. We are demonstrating it in a virtual context, and we're confident that one can only imagine how much more impactful this could be if we were, and when we do get to go back in an in-person setting. And that said, virtual still allows for a lot of that experience still to come out.
So for me, it was partly curious because I've heard of psychodrama, but I've never participated in it. And excitement because I've heard that it's kind of a healing process, and I'm excited to know more about that.
Thank you, Kitty. I think we got the last part of what you said, which is excited to know more about the healing aspect of it. Yeah? Was there anyone who felt down or neutral? And the space is open for all feelings. So, anybody? Okay.
I just want to add one thing to what I said. I was also a part curiosity and part excitement, and I'm wondering if what I will discover. Again, there's a combination of curiosity and excitement. That when you said, "What are you feeling?" I could feel a little, ball in my stomach, that energy ball in my stomach, but I'm not able to put a finger and give words to that excitement, what it is really. And I'm wondering, somewhere there must be some connection which is somatically showing up. And I'm very curious then to see, even if I can't put the words to it, what might just come out of it.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to invite you, as if it sounds strange, it doesn't have to be a word. You could actually just place your hand wherever you think that's happening to you in the moment right now. So you're still in touch with that. You're still in touch with it.
Yeah.
And, our mind will be able to express it at some time, but the body is expressing it.
Yeah.
Excellent. So this is the time when I'm also going to offer, and I'm just, people have been dialing in, so making sure that everyone, we've got a great group. We've got about 92 participants. So if you joined in slightly later and missed the first part of what we said, just to bring us into speed into the structure with which we're working, you see us, all of us with our videos on. This is the group of volunteers with Swastika and me, and we are going to anchor and demonstrate some of the techniques of psychodrama in coaching that we can use. And the rest of you are going to be observers, of course, but that doesn't stop you from, please type into the chat pod as you watch the drama unfold here. Type into the chat pod any questions, any reflections that you have as well. Yeah. Swastika, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And I am also, feeling the excitement right now with so many people kind of sharing about their, all of you sharing about your excitement as well as your curiosity. Yeah? So really looking forward to this right now. What I'd like us to do is now we are going to get into the meat of the session right now. I'd like, one or two people, or maybe more, anyone who has a topic that they would like to work on today. if you can just put your hand up or use the reaction button or something. Yeah. So Jagdish.
Yes.
And Ketaki, I can see 2 hands. And Shiva is tentative, but you're there. Okay. And Kitty also says that she has a topic, but yeah. Okay. I think, Kitty, you need to put your video on if you can, please. Yeah. Great. So what I'd like, so I can see, and Shabri, I need your help with this because I'm not able to always see all the, the video. So I'd like all of you who have topics, yeah, to just in a short sentence, in a couple of sentences, if you can just tell us what that topic is about. Anyone can start, and then you can invite the next person. Yes, Jagdish, you'd like to start? Yeah.
My topic is on patience. I find that I'm very impatient by nature, and that's one area of weakness of mine. And although I'm well into my 60s, the fact is by now I should have been a bit more patient. I should have learned to be patient, but sadly, unfortunately, while the spirit is willing, the flesh is weak, kind of thing. So I'm, it's one area which has been something which I've wanted to, kind of get over. Many a time I've had situations where I've wanted to be patient. I've not succeeded, but the aftermath has generally left me, reflecting and feeling a bit sad about things. So this is one area which I really, really want to improve upon: patience.
Excellent. I can almost sense the impatience with wanting to be patient. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Who'd like to go next?
I can go next.
Yes.
So I have something very, very specific, which is that, when we are coaching, I'm totally confident and I'm in my zone, right? Sometimes even when I have someone watching as I'm demonstrating in person, that is kind of okay too. But, there have been times when I've been required as part of a selection process of being a coach on a panel to send a video of coaching. And even as I'm thinking and talking about this, I can see this huge anxiety through the torso from the stomach upwards. And I don't know what it is that just suddenly changes when I'm expected to put it on video and record it and send it. I almost feel like I don't know coaching. And I've been coaching for 10, 11 years, coaching CXO, C-suite people. So, and everything is totally fine otherwise. But the minute that video recording comes on, I mean, even like I said, even as I'm speaking, I can feel this very anxious energy inside me, and I don't know what happens. So it's very specific to that, but yeah.
Thank you for sharing it right here, Ketaki. Yeah, in this forum where many of us are coaches. Yeah, and thank you for being vulnerable and bringing it right here. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll go next.
Yes.
So, my problem that I want to be coached on is a little different in the sense I've just started to be an entrepreneur. I'm also like Jagdish into my into my mid 60s, and I've just taken a huge decision to leave everything and get into entrepreneurship. My problem is I've been teaching. I teach at IIT Madras. I teach creativity. I teach all those things. I teach entrepreneurship. I'm very good at teaching and I'm very good at energizing people. But when it comes to me, I'm still fearful. I'm still hesitant. I'm not able to launch my entire self into that last over of my life, right? I just want to explode but I don't know what, but something is holding me back from realizing what I truly can achieve, right? I know I can achieve a lot of stuff. I know I can achieve brilliant stuff if I want to, but something is saying, you can't do it, right? Something is just holding me back from really launching off into something special, some meaning to my life, that sort of thing. I don't know what it is.
Sure. Kim, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. So something is holding you back. Yeah. And there was Kitty, I know, had typed in
Yes, Swastika. Kitty had typed it in. And Kitty had said, want to start and maintain a daily meditation practice. So a new habit that she wants to start.
Right.
Sorry, I'm having some internet issues, and that's why I tried to change the device. And I hope this is going to be better and you're going to be hearing me.
Excellent. Yeah. Anything you'd like to add to that, Kitty?
Yes, the fact that I've tried several times, and also the fact that I sort of suggest meditation to my coachees that I'm at the moment coaching pro bono for my credentials. So I feel like I can't be suggesting it to other people and not having it as my practice. I just have reached that point where I need to, and I know it's going to be benefiting for me for sure. So that's where I need a little bit of nudging.
Excellent. Thank you. So we have this, is there anyone else who had a topic?
Do we have an opportunity? Then I can go next.
So we are going to make a choice, and we are going to determine which one that we will work with, because that's all we'll have time for. But the idea is to just look at how do we choose who will go is really what we're trying to do right now. So yeah, do you have something on your mind, Rekha?
Yeah.
Sure.
So I think something that constantly keeps bothering me is my own nature of being uncomfortable to face any conflicts. Like I can't be in present when there is an argument. I withdraw. Otherwise, I come across as extremely confident. I know how to talk. I know how to, present, articulate. But when there is an argument, I don't know, there's something disturbs me, and I take a complete backseat, whether it's at home. It doesn't happen much at work, so it's more at home, and I become very submissive. How do I overcome that?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I'm just going to recap the various topics that have come up. Yeah. So the first one that we heard was Jagdish, and basically Jagdish, you spoke about the whole aspect of wanting to become more patient, and this is again something that you have tried several times, and this is really of importance to you. Yeah, especially at this point in your life. Kirtiki, you spoke about the whole the anxiety, and that's the word that I picked up. The anxiety of being videographed when you are coaching, and that does something to you and your sense of confidence and your sense of presence. Yeah, and you then start wondering about your competence. Yeah. Shiva, you spoke about being an entrepreneur and wanting and being able to teach others and to be able to really guide others. But when it comes to yourself, you find it difficult to be able to really launch ahead. And there's some fear, there's some doubt, there's some, again, I'm using the word anxiety. I don't think you used it, but there's some anxiety that is going with that. Yeah. And Kitty, you spoke about wanting to start a meditative practice. You've tried several times and it's not worked for you so far, and you would like to now find a new way of being able to do that. Rekha, you spoke about facing conflict, especially at home, is difficult, and when it happens, you take a back seat and you withdraw. Yeah. So we've heard these 5 topics. Yeah. What I'm going to suggest that we do is that if I start, I'll name the first topic. Yeah. And we like a show of hands. And how would we like the show of hands? those who feel that this topic is very, very close to my heart, yeah, you can put your hands right here in front of the camera. Yeah. Those who feel that it's there, but it's not very, very close, but it's still something which bothers you. And yeah, so that you can keep your hand here. And those who feel it's there, but it's at a distance or not really, not really bothering you, you can put it there. Yeah. So not bothering you as in you're not resonating with it, you're not connecting with it, and you're not, you don't think it is the most important thing for you to work with today. We're going to make a choice about which topic are we going to work with? Not so much the person, but which topic are we going to work with? Yeah. So the first topic that and Shabri, I'd like your help with just making a note of how people are responding. So the first one was patience. Yeah, Jagdish talks about patience, and whoever has also shared the topic can also vote. Yeah, can also demonstrate. So please go ahead and tell us the whole perspective around patience, building patience, at this stage in life. Yeah. So, okay. So Jagdish has put it right in front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are at a distance, I think. Yeah, and 1 is close. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Ketuki's was about coaching and the anxiety of being videographed at that point, and then kind of questioning her competence. Again, please vote. Yeah, if it's very close to you. Yeah. 1, 2 are very close. Yeah, and 1, 2, 3, 4 are middle, and 1 is right at the back. Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you. Shiva. Shiva's was about being fearful as an entrepreneur for himself and his own growth and his own development. Yeah, again, please decide.
And can I just add that what you are resonating with is the emotion, not so much the topic of the entrepreneur, etc. Right? So see whether you resonate with the emotion that's being expressed.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah. So Jagdish and Shiva 2, 3, Nupur as well. 4 are close. Yeah. And Kitty and 1, 2. I'm not sure about Rekha's hand. Yeah.
It was here. 3. So it's about 3 at the back.
4. Yeah, 4 at the back. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, thank you. And the next one is Kitty. Kitty's was about the daily meditative practice and wanting to establish that. Yeah, so again, 1, 2, 3 are close, and 1, 2, 3, 4 are more in that. Yeah, and Rekha's was about facing conflict at home and shying away from that. 1, 2. Yeah, and the rest are all at in the middle, and one at the back. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So we have a tough choice. I think we'll have to take this a little further. If we were doing this in a physical environment, we would just get all the protagonists, as we would call you, the ones who want to potential protagonists. We would get you all into a circle and just ask people to place their hands on the person's shoulders, yeah, to say that they are selecting that person. Yeah. And that topic, basically the topic and the emotion behind it. Shabri, out of the lot, which ones do you see are the ones which seem to be right on top?
So the topic was around launching my whole self as an entrepreneur. That had the maximum resonance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And next was the starting a meditative practice and my discomfort with conflict. Those were the topics that had the highest resonance.
Right.
At this point, we can also ask Now, sometimes what happens is we express the topic and then we connect with things. And you may also choose to say, you know what, I am okay not to work with this right now as well. So the space is available for you to step in. Equally, the space is always available for you to sort of step back as well. If that's the case, you're welcome to say that right now.
So I have a question. And since you said focus on the emotion, would, for example, Shiva's emotion, that the whole fear and anxiety, would that be connected? And therefore, is that considered as one?
So you've picked Shiva's because you heard, right? He may not have used the words that you use, but you picked something from there, right? Ketiki,
Yeah.
what you remember, what you resonate with in terms of that topic? And you're absolutely right. I asked you to look for the emotion, not the content.
Right.
Yeah, just that.
So what resonated for me, actually, even in line with my own topic, is that he said, he is mid-60s, which means he's achieved a lot and done a lot in his life. And now he wants to get into entrepreneurship, right? And that's causing fear for him. For me, it is, I've been doing coaching for the last 11 years, right? A lot of coaching. But now I'm required to do this videography, right? And submit it. So that there's a whole foundation of confidence, but somewhere it comes and suddenly you feel, at least at a very feeling and whatever level, that where is that foundation, right? And how do I make this top thing happen? So if he has to become an entrepreneur, that fear and anxiety, and I'm adding the word anxiety. I don't remember whether he used that word or not. I heard him use the word fear. But for me, I'm picking the anxiety part of it more than the fear, to say, how can I show up in that same brilliance in this little piece that I need to do?
As you articulated it, how does it make you feel as you articulated this itself?
I just feel I don't know if I'm feeling or thinking, honestly, but if we were to speak about what Shiva is going through, I have a feeling that, or I sense that I might be able to somewhere find some connection, and maybe the root could be very similar. The manifestation may be different. Yeah. So I'm sensing I might get something.
And
that's
yes,
brilliant.
Brilliant. And since today is also about a demonstration of psychodrama, let me share that in psychodrama, we say that not just the protagonist is working. All of us are always on that same journey with whoever is deeply engaged or is being coached as well. So it is an osmosis that's happening all the time. So you pick that up and you resonated with it. Yeah. Over to you, Swasti.
Yeah. So and we will talk a little more about it later on. The idea is just that we are picking up emotions right here, right now. And therefore, sometimes the butterflies in the stomach or something else that's coming up is all part of that whole experience right now. So here's what I'm going to recommend that we do. Yeah. It seems to me, and Shabri, please validate that. It seems to me that Shiva's, the maximum number of people who have who have kind of resonated with Shiva's topic seems to be the maximum, the number of people. And what I would like to do is, for a moment, if we can just get one word from each of the others about how they are feeling about joining Shiva and having to let go of the opportunity today to do a coaching session, coaching demo. Because I'm sorry, we will not be able to work with everybody right now, even though we would love to directly. Yeah, but as Ketiki said, there will be resonance. There will be something that will happen, hopefully, and we will hear about it.
So for me, if I can go first.
Sure.
For me, the word that comes to mind is conduit. So for me, he's the conduit to reach where I want to reach. Yeah, I almost feel like there's a little pipe here, which is with an open mouth now, where I can release that energy through him as his processing as the conduit.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. The others?
I'll pick up what Shabri mentioned. I think it's about the osmosis, clearly for me. Yeah.
Right. So you believe that the osmosis will help you also to be able to work with something, yeah? Thank you so much, yeah? And thank you for being gracious about this. Jagdish, Kitty.
Yeah, it resonates with me as well. I'm at a point where I'm in a limbo situation where I need to take the leap forward to starting a business. So I can sympathize, and it resonates with me, what she was mentioning.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So can I go next?
Sure, please do.
Yes, Shiva's topic it resonates very much with me. I've been in training and coaching for several years. My brand of coaching, not necessarily the ICF or EMC brand of coaching. So now I've started undergoing credentialing from Cocharya. And I find that there is a huge difference between what I used to do and call label as coaching and what ICF believes is coaching. So we have a variance. Now, for me, it was a moment of truth, you see. It was very hard. And something like what Shiva said, he's an excellent teacher. But, when it came to his own thing, there's something holding him back. Now, here I am with a successful coaching practice, which I've labeled as coaching, and so do my clients. And now suddenly I am sitting in a cohort in Cocharya, and what the instructor is teaching is something else, and what you are learning is something else. So, and here I am actually gritting my teeth and trying to figure out what's going on. So when Shiva says that there's something holding me back, it's something which vibes with me. I sense a common vibe. It's something which holds me back too, because I find that those who have never ever coached, they seem to be taking to it like a fish takes to water. But here I am with all my gray hair, and I'm trying to look wise, but it just doesn't work. So what Shiva says, Shiva, you're not alone in this world. Okay, you got a brother here. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Jagdish, for this. So Shiva, it does sound like the group has chosen you to work on your topic. And through that, the word conduit, the word resonance, etc., has emerged. So we're all going to be working with you, and we're all going to draw some insight for our specific concern area as well.
Thank
Shiva,
you.
how do you feel about going ahead with the coaching?
Yeah, very, very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Swastika, time to tell people who needs to keep their videos on, who needs to keep their videos off.
Yes. Thank you so much. And I think as I was going to take the big leap forward, just like you, Shiva, the internet kind of conked off. Yeah. So I'm back here now. What I'd like us to do is for all of us, except Shiva and myself, we will put our videos off. And I would like all of you, as well the volunteers, as well as the extended audience right now, to stay with the experience and just kind of make notes about what you're feeling, what you're experiencing.
We're going to be doing this in tandem, dealing with the internet gods. Yes, so the request is for everyone to keep their videos off, but that doesn't mean that we're checking out of the process, especially in the volunteer group. We will be bringing you back towards the end as well. And for the rest of the participants who are as audience, also stay alive to what's happening in this space. Yeah, so if you could turn your videos off, please, and it'll only be Shiva. And when we get Swastika back, Swastika, otherwise I'm going. Okay, Shiva. You've been the chosen one. How does it feel?
Very happy.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. And you're happy because?
Happy because what I said seemed to resonate with everyone, and so that's why.
Thank you. So Shiva, we're going to work together for the next about 15 odd minutes, 15, 20 minutes in this one-on-one space. I'm going to request you to just look around yourself and see where you are and get comfortable with where you are. Do you have we had asked you to bring in some props, etc. Do you have a chair that might be available? You have a chair that's there. You have some props as well. Yeah. So if you could just take a minute to look around. Yeah. You have your space. Yeah. Get comfortable.
Yes.
Super. Swastika, do you want to take over?
Shabri, I'm going to suggest that you
Sure.
start this,
Sure.
simply because the internet is, and it's not fair to Shiva and to everyone else.
Sure, sure. Okay, and chip in, yeah? So, Shiva, tell me a little bit more about your, you said that you've been working in this area as an entrepreneur, started off, and you feel that you want to sort of unlock a lot of what you bring. So share with me, what do you think you're truly bringing in that you want to unlock even more for everybody?
As in, what is it that I want to unlock in myself?
Mm-hmm.
So I have been teaching for the last 20 years now, right? Teaching various things, and I get lots and lots of inputs by way of knowledge and concepts and everything, and I keep saying it to everybody. I apparently say it very well because people listen to me. People do all that, and I talk about the meaning of life. I talk about the purpose of life. I talk about Jonah complex. I talk about everything, right? And therefore I thought I was ready for the world. But when I launched this company about 1.5 months ago, I don't know. I'm not able to put into practice everything that I thought was valuable, was important, was practical, everything. So I'm very fearful. I hold back. I don't. I know I can achieve much more, but I'm shy. I'm everything that I'm telling people not to be.
Not to be. Well, you're very brave to work on this one. You're not being shy on this one. So Shiva, I'm going to ask you to look at the props that you have. And I'm going to ask you to choose a prop for the very sure, experienced teacher in you. Just choose any prop and show it to me. Strong, experienced teacher. Ah, the book. Okay. And show me the title of the book, Shiva. Just curious. I'm just curious. What's the title of the book?
It's called Shark's Paintbrush.
Shark's Paintbrush. Okay. So that is, how old is that book?
About 1 year old.
1 year old. And today it is now that 1 year old is going to morph into how many? 20-year-old, 25-year-old? How many years?
30, 35.
Okay, let's give it an age. How old is this book?
This book is about. Is it the what is the number that I need?
Yes. How many? You said that it's the sure Shiva of so many years of experience that you're bringing in.
Okay. Got
so
it.
How many of the teacher?
40.
40. So this is the 40-year-old Shiva.
Yes.
Yeah. And very respectfully, therefore, we're going to give it a space. So find it a space on your table and place it where you can see the 40-year-old Shiva.
Yes.
But you also have a 1.5-month-old baby, I heard.
Yes.
So find something that to you is your 1.5-year-old baby.
I have a remote.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's because of the virtual background. I'm not able to see it.
The AC remote.
It's an AC remote. Okay. And so give it, so tell me, 1.5 months? Give it exactly 1.5 months?
Yes. April 1st.
Okay. And the name of this baby is?
It's called the Biomimicry Compass.
The Biomimicry Compass. Biomimicry Compass. Okay. So we have the Biomimicry Compass as well next to you. So where are you going to place the Biomimicry Compass on your table? You have the 40-year-old Shiva, you have the 1.5-month-old Biomimicry Compass. Where are you going to?
in the middle of the 40-year-old Shiva, on the 40-year-old Shiva.
You want to place it on. Okay, so go ahead and do that.
I've done it.
You've done that? Okay. Now,
Yes.
Shiva, we're going to have a conversation with each of them. Yeah. But I suggest we have the conversation first with the 1.5 month, because that seems to be, is that the first thing you see
Yes.
before you see the book? Yeah. The
Yes.
1.5 month.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you to hold the 1.5 month old biometric compass.
Okay.
Could you? Okay. Could you just shift your chair a little bit?
Should I shift to the non-virtual background?
Yes. Would that be possible? That will certainly
But
help with
only
so that.
you shouldn't laugh at all my books and all that.
Well, you know, I'm sure that it's just adding to the 40-year-old. Oh, wow, that's a lovely collection. So someday. Yeah. So this is, okay. So Shiva, I'm going to interview you a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're new, you're just 1.5 months old.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. It's fun, right? To be 1.5 months old.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that was a yes. Okay. So what does it feel like to be 1.5 month old, biometric compass?
Not able to understand anything at all around me.
Okay.
Everyone else being much bigger than I am.
Okay. So how small do you feel? Let's
Very
show it.
small.
Show me.
So small, so small.
You feel this much?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And tell me a little bit about the smallness.
Because it's a new topic. Everyone, people don't know who I am. People don't know what I want to do. People, I have to go and let people know who I am. It's introduce myself all the time, make new contacts. And if I don't raise my voice, then I'll just be ignored. Nobody is really bothered. There can be a lot of, I am responsible for my own wanting to make a difference. It's not really something that people will want right now, what I'm offering. So, it's not something that people will die for right now. So therefore and plus, who am I really compared to all the great entrepreneurs in the world, right? Why am I even doing these things? Why am I even venturing into this when most people who I know are leading better, in the sense, safer lives, and why am I taking so many risks and all that? So that's
So why have I been born?
this one.
Hmm.
I am this is me, right? So I am born because I wanted a purpose in my life.
Okay.
And I didn't want to die without any meaning to my life. The last half an hour of my life, I want to have said that this is something that I really wanted to do, and not. I would have been very upset if I hadn't done this when I was the last half an hour when I'm dying. I would have been very, very upset if I hadn't made the decision to do this.
So this is a space that's holding a lot of your dreams.
Yes, all my aspirations, everything that I worked for in my life.
Go ahead and tell the compass, the biomic, the remote out there. Go ahead and look at it and tell it.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead and look at the. You had the remote.
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead and hold it. Does it feel the same size, or it feels smaller or bigger?
No, it's almost similar. Yes.
It's almost similar.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead and tell it. What are the dreams and hopes that you have for this?
So, hi Compass, I'm glad that you were born.
Okay.
And I'm glad that you're born. I'm glad that I didn't abandon you.
Okay.
I'm glad that that I conceived of you. And I'm glad that that I will be able to go away, that saying that I was capable of even thinking about bringing you into this world.
Thank you. I'm now going to ask you to swap, and I am going to be the remote. Yeah, the 1.5-month-old Shiva. And Shiva, you are going to be Shiva.
Okay. Okay.
And here I have something that's white as well. Yeah. So I'm going to use this and say, okay, so just listen to me. Yes, okay. I'm glad I gave birth to you. I'm glad you were born. Yeah. I have a lot of dreams and aspirations for you. And, you know, I will regret if I didn't have you.
And what am I? Sorry.
Respond to me.
Yeah, that's all very well to say all that, but who? But it's nice to say all that, but in the darkest of times, in the darkest of moods, wouldn't have been better not to be so, in the sense, why would you want to even bring into existence something that's not absolutely necessary? You can just lead a peaceful, happy life, not even bother about why get to all these coaching sessions on psychodrama when you could have actually had a nice cushy life, not bothering about anything. Yeah, I can just rest on my laurels and be quiet, like all my other friends. Just retire into what's that term? Whatever. Oblivion.
Oblivion? Okay. Shiva, find a prop for this nice retired Shiva who's going to go into oblivion. Find a prop for that.
I have a towel, very symbolically. I can throw in the towel.
Okay. Oh, throw in the towel. Okay. Okay. So the throw in the towel Shiva is saying, why?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to find a towel as well. Why? This is such a waste of time. Just have fun. Just, relax.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah. So this is correct. If that is correct, what is this? Go ahead and pick that up.
This is, if that is correct, then this is unnecessary.
This is unnecessary. Okay. So shall we place unnecessary back? Place unnecessary wherever you want. Look around and place unnecessary somewhere.
Yeah, kept it.
Where have you kept it?
Just away.
Away. Okay. But there was another Shiva that was there also.
Yes, the book.
The book.
Yeah.
Okay. So now Shiva, the book. You said you're 40 years old?
Yes.
35, 40? Yeah. And you are what? I mean, what's the best part of this 40-year-old Shiva?
The experience, the number of people who I have been able to teach, the number of people the number of struggles I've gone through, the failures I've encountered, everything about my life, the 40 years of existence, the 40 years of achievements, struggles, failures, everything about that's 40 years.
Very rich, Shiva.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels very rich?
Yes, very, very rich.
Very rich. Yeah.
That's a waste of time not to use it.
So this is, what is it? Rich, useful? What is this?
This is me.
Okay.
This is me. This is the result of who I started as. This is all my aspirations, all my dreams, all my failures, everything that I have gone through in my life, all the people I have met, all the conflicts I have had, all the relationships I have succeeded, failed, everything, right? So that's what this is.
No wonder it's a thick, big book.
Yes.
Yeah. It's got so much, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a brush of everything that's there with you.
Yes.
If you had to place this in its most cherished place around you, where would you place it?
I'll keep it with me.
Okay.
Hold it.
You want to hold it? Holding this now, if you had to pick one of them, either the throw in the towel that you wanted to do, or that unnecessary piece. But keep this. Which of these would you want to pick?
Naturally, the baby.
Yeah, naturally. Okay. And that's why she was there. He or she? What's the baby is
She.
It's a she? Okay. So, okay. And okay. Holding this and this now. Yeah. Now, how does this look for you? I mean, you're showing it to me in the camera. Very interesting. You're placing this on this. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Okay. Now, if I were to ask you, so who are you? Who is this? Is the 40-year-old, the 1.5-month-old? What's this?
Actually, it's very nice that you asked that question, because now what I feel when I look at my own picture, I feel that this 1.5-month-old baby is the result of this 40 years.
Oh.
So it's conceived because of the 40-year-old mother has given birth to a little kid. Yeah.
Huh? Not unnecessary then. Every birth is important, right?
Yeah.
Is it? Or
in the sense, yes, when you say it like that, but after you go away from this session, the problem is I'll go back to the towel. So that's
okay.
So
that's the dilemma.
Doubt is very persevering, right? It doesn't disappear overnight.
Yeah. And it certainly doesn't. And I think you're very right about that. It doesn't go overnight. And this is for the long run, right? I mean, this is not about something that we can just look at in 15 minutes or 20 minutes. We can't simplify your life or the dilemmas or the experience you're having in 15, 20 minutes. But if you were to just take a pause and now look at both, what is something that you would like to say to yourself, not so much to me, say to yourself as a comment, as a closure?
So what I would like to say to myself after having listened to you, after having talked about this, what I would like to say to myself is that I will not feel worthy of myself if I don't do this. So if I have to achieve my self-worth, then I cannot choose the towel. I will have to, irrespective of the feelings of doubt, irrespective of the fear, irrespective of this, I'm going to leave myself with no choice except to choose the baby. So what has happened is it has reinforced the belief with which I started this thing, right? So I do have a choice of choosing the towel, but there are sometimes in life when you don't have a choice. You have to tell yourself there is no choice, right? Okay. And so I'm not even going to exercise the choice of the towel, even though it seems more luxurious,
alluring,
and more alluring and everything. I'm not going to choose simply because I want to struggle. I'm good at struggling.
Oh.
I'm very good at failing. I'm very good at struggling. So I might as well give it one more shot.
Okay. And so if you had to make an active choice of the baby, what would you tell the baby?
I'll tell the baby that...
Go ahead and tell it. Go ahead and tell it. Don't think this. Make an active choice of the baby.
Yeah. Hi, baby. I want to tell you that whatever happens, I will nurture you and I'll take care of you as long as I can.
Despite the struggle or the joy.
Yeah, the struggle has to happen. There is no choice. There is no option.
And thank you for making an active choice of even exploring this today with all of us here.
Thank you, Shabari.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm going to invite everyone to turn their videos on. Thank you, Shiva. Swastika, would you like to take us through the sharing?
Yeah.
And
yes,
go ahead.
But before that, I just want to tell Shiva that it's also practice, that our psychodramatic practice, that we shake those two objects and tell them you're no longer the baby, you're no longer the book, whatever, the metaphors that you held for them, and just shake it and then put it away. So that's also energy. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you, Shabri. Thank you for.
Oh, you're welcome. So,
Yeah.
would you like to take us through the sharing, Swastika?
Yes. Yes.
And this is an important part of psychodrama as well. We work a little bit with the protagonists, but what we're going to now move to is the practice of sharing.
Yeah, yeah. And this is extremely important. What we would like to do is, since Shiva as a protagonist has worked on his particular issue right here, particular topic, what we'd like to do is to invite a couple of voices, yeah, to share what, as you were watching Shiva in his journey, what were one or two experiences from your life that kind of, stood out for you, that seemed to match and map with whatever Shiva was going through? It's not about the actual experience in itself, but some of the emotions, some of the turmoil, some of the struggles, anything that you resonated with and you would like to share with Shiva right now. Yeah, in brief.
Yes. Can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Yes.
Shiva, that part where you said, that you would have felt incomplete, words to that effect, you would not have lived your life had you abandoned the the baby, so to speak. All the years of wisdom, all the years of hard work, the knowledge, the experiences, all these would have come to naught had you abandoned the baby. You wouldn't have been fulfilled, and that's something which definitely resonates with me. So thank you for sharing that, Shiva.
Thank you.
Yeah. So when we are sharing, one is to kind of, yes, just the feeling. Yeah. If we can also share something about resonating with that struggle. Yeah. So not so much advice, not so much about anything else that if I were you, I would have done that. Just to note and to guide us in terms of the direction of the sharing.
Yes. Well, for me, it is the same. What Shiva is going through is the same for me. I've put 43 years of work experience, and now I've got into this ICF credentialing, and for me it's the same. Where Shiva has got a baby whom he wants to nurture and give flight to, I have something similar. I'm undergoing this process of credentialing, and so I see the struggle. I empathize. I can actually connect very well about the struggle. Sometimes I also feel, really, is it worth it? Do I need to do all this? Is it so? So those feelings are something which go with me very much.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you
for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. One more voice.
I can go. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Komal.
Okay, so thank you so much, Shiva and Shabri. It's been really amazing, and I have, throughout the conversation, I've felt certain things. One, when Shiva was talking to that little baby, and no, when he was talking like that little baby, that
Shiva is right here, so you can tell him directly.
Shiva. So when you were talking like that little baby, I felt exactly like, oh, how much. It's like, when little babies speak or say something so mature and so beyond their age, that's exactly how I felt. Like as if a little baby is, oh my God, taking so much of burden and behaving and reacting like a mature person, that oh, I have to do this and I'm feeling stressed. Or children do not feel stressed, they just live. If they don't know anything, they're okay, they just look at everything with curiosity. But this child has taken on so much of a mature persona that on one hand you feel like, oh my God, this child really needs a hug. You want to go and hug the little baby, and then just for a moment being in that child's space, I felt like, oh my God, this little baby has put on so much of the burden of the dad's dreams and aspirations. And it really, for a moment, felt like a huge burden and a fearful space because it's just a little baby. And while the parent, be it a mother or a dad, is rejoicing and feeling that, yes, this is this is everything that I have had in my life, but I see a whole lot of burden of aspiration coming on the baby, which is not letting the baby take its own sweet time to learn and grow and cultivates its own dreams and desires. It feels like, and somewhere I connected to my personal experience also, because I've lived through that, where I have as a child sort of, felt that I have a lot of burden of aspirations of my own parents, which felt like fearful blocking in my own growth. So that really stood out to me, and I just wanted to share it with you. And then one sentence sort of hit me. With all your honesty, you said, that I will support you as long as I can. As a child, I want to hear, I will support you as long as you need. That's how I see a loving and a capable parent. Never to let go of me. Be with me as long as I need. So I think that's what I really felt, and I wanted to share with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Just in the interest of time, I'm going to suggest that anyone else wants to share, they can just put it on chat. Yeah.
I think
And
Ketaki
we can
wanted
share a
to,
little.
so let's ask Ketaki,
okay,
because she
sorry.
did talk about resonating with it, and then we will move to the next part of our webinar.
Sure. Okay. Sorry, I missed that. Yeah, go ahead, Ketaki.
Thank you, Swastika, and thank you, Shabri. I'll make it short, but what came up, what resonated with me, Shiva, when you said, I feel small, right? And I felt when you said 40-year-old book, and I feel small, and then you put the 1.5-year-old on the book. It's what the metaphor it brought up for me was like, there's a little fence, and as me as a little child, the new thing that I'm trying to learn and get past the fear, I want to be able to see beyond that fear, beyond that barrier and that fence. And the 40-year-old, and in my case, that number could be different, is this huge big box kept there, and I could actually climb on top of the box and look beyond that fence. But the thing is, I'm a child. I haven't learned yet how to jump on the box and use it to get to that level. And the struggle that you spoke about is the struggle and the learning where I need to develop my own muscles and struggle to be able to jump on top of that box and use that box as my base to be able to look past that fear. So for me, what you meant, everything just kind of came together, say, I will have to struggle. And pretty much like what Komal said, not till when I can, but till the time it is needed, till I'm ready to be able to jump on it. So till I'm ready to jump and capable of jumping, I have to struggle. I have to stay with it, and then just jump on it, and then create this whole total me, where I have the box and I have the little me, and it just elevates me to a different level then. So I'm no longer just the 40 separate, not the child separate, but together it's a formidable force if I'm able to live with, stay with the struggle of learning how to jump on top. That's what came up for me.
Wonderful. And really the conduit that you talk about seems to have come alive.
Thank you so much, Shiva.
Thank you.
Gratitude.
Thank you. Thank you. Shiva, just one line to let us all know how you're feeling now that you've heard a couple of voices, not too many, but a couple of voices, and you've been through your journey. Just a couple of lines to express where you are right now.
Yeah, so thank you for that. I feel that what I am feeling is not uncommon, and it's something that is common to everyone. That there is a commonness to fear, there's a commonness to aspiration. There's a commonness to want to achieve. There's a commonness to want to throw in the towel, and therefore it's not a strange feeling, but it's a natural outcome of everyone who wants to do something new and all that. And I'm not judging either the towel or the book or anyone. I'm just in a very neutral space saying I observe that these are the things that I'm seeing in front of me. And I can choose to I can still choose to be in any one of, I can still choose one of these things. It's nice. I'm feeling very coached. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. This is actually what we call integration, where we invite many different voices, people who are there. That's why psychodrama is for the group, by the group, and in the group. Yeah. So everyone is experiencing, what the protagonist is going through. So you worked on all our behalf right there. Yeah. So over to you, Shabri, to take us forward.
Thank you. I also wanted to say, Shiva, and if you notice, and for everyone who, as you read the chat pod, there's a lot of resonance that's happening with people who've been watching as well. So yes, it's a very active process. And so you'll see that there is something that's been triggered for everybody in the room as well. Yeah. Thank you, volunteers. This is where we move to the third section of our webinar, where we're going to talk a little bit about the background, very little about the background of psychodrama, what it is, some of the principles, and then throw it open for Q&A as well. So you're welcome. Yes, Vasudha.
Shabri, just before we kind of move into that, one word from all the volunteers.
Go ahead.
So that
Yes.
Yes. Just inviting you to share one word, one feeling word, one line that you would like to kind of say about where you are at the end of all this. And thank you once again for being here.
To me, if I can go first, I think it was immersive at the same time, though I wasn't playing the role of Shiva, but very immersive and observing.
I could empathize. Empathy is, for me, empathy and resonance, perhaps. Whatever Shiva is undergoing, so am I. I sense a kindred spirit.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think for me, it's a very powerful way of leveraging or harnessing the power of collective consciousness. And just by the way of observing or participating, I think sort of changes and resolves a lot of things.
I actually resonate with what Komal said, but just to add to that, one is, of course, the power of the collective. It's just incredible. But to add to that, it just, to me, it seems like right now there's a drop in the ocean, and there's a ripple that just kind of a tiny ripple that got created. I just feel that there is just so much more we can explore in this and see, because I'm sure what Shiva spoke about right now, Shiva, what you spoke, it has connection with many other things in your life, right? And how this whole thing can be explored further to bring about fundamental shifts internally below the so-called waterline of their psychological iceberg. That would be very interesting. So I guess drop that, cause the ripple, started the ripple. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Can I go next?
Yes, sure.
First of all, Shiva, thank you so much for doing that. I don't think that was easy with over 90 people watching. So thank you for that. Learned so much, and I'm also feeling pushed. Shabri, I learned a lot from how you conducted it, from how you used everything from your voice to your body language to create that experience for Shiva. And what was amazing for me, and a big takeaway, is how through this, you made an idea very, very real for him, actually brought it to life in just 15 minutes.
And the sense I got was probably it became more real for him in those 15 minutes than it was in the, and Shiva, sorry, you're right here. So the sense I got was probably now it's more real for you in those 15, 20 minutes than it was in the 1.5 months before, or the time that you'd been thinking about it even before that. Cool. So that really was magical for me, that one could actually feel and touch the idea, and it had a life. So now you are going to nurture it. So that's the sense I got.
Thank you. Very true.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And Nupur, would you like to share?
I think what I am feeling right now is interconnectedness, because I mean, I can resonate with the subject because we, like you said, we all have the same feelings, right? It doesn't matter. We all have those aspirations for ourselves and those dreams that we want to nurture, but put pressure that these have to materialize as soon as possible in whatever possible ways. So I resonate with that. And what I take back is the fact that nurturing is important, that I need to nurture whatever dreams I have. So thank you so much. It was really, really beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think we
and
haven't
thank
heard
you
from
for volunteering once again. Yeah, so now
Kitty, would you like to go?
Yes, I would. I just want to say I agree with what everyone has said, and to Shiva, I was just very touched by how you talked about your struggles, very touched, and through you, you know, I could see the humanity that's connecting us.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Shabari,
we can't hear you.
I thought I should have got better by with that right now. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, if we had more time, of course, like several of you said, you can see the power of the process for anything that we could have gone deeper. Today, the intention was a demonstration, and yet, Shiva, you brought us such a beautiful demonstration, right? And thank you for all the volunteers. I know you all joined us a little earlier as well. You can stay off video now, and I'm going to share on screen a couple of slides just to talk a little bit about the origins of psychodrama. Yeah, very quickly. And then we might just have you ending the session at 10:30. That's about a couple of minutes from now, I think. Yes, we've got about 15 minutes. So I'm going to keep some space aside for any questions. And Swastika, if you could keep an eye on the chat board, I think there are some questions that are coming up out there as well. So psychodrama, there's several schools of psychodrama, but what Swastika and I've been trained in is actually the father of psychodrama, Moreno, who was an Austrian psychiatrist. And the way Moreno describes psychodrama just beautifully and very simply, he says, the method that explores the truth of the soul through action. The first part of our session where we worked with the group, where we asked some questions, was all about, we want to demonstrate a little bit of sociometry. I'll tell you a little bit about what sociometry is all about. And of course, psychodrama was initially used in group psychotherapy, but it has several applications well beyond the therapeutic applications. So there is catharsis. There is a sense of therapeutic experience that people do have. And surprise, surprise, just last month, we actually celebrated 100 years of psychodrama. So psychodrama has been around for several years. It's just, I would say, I think, in India, it has also been here since the 50s, but has been coming up with a lot more structure, a lot more training certification being allowed now. If you look at the broad definition of these two words, the drama and the psyche, the psychodrama, it's really about the inner experience and the action. I'm going to share with you a couple of more. We talk about 5 different elements in psychodrama that have to always be there. The first one is the stage, and the picture that you see there is actually the original Moreno stage. That's actually there in Beacon Hill in the US. So a lot of his work actually became very popular when he went to the US and set up a school out there. So one of the elements is stage. Now in the virtual setup, what I asked Shiva to do was look around and create a little bit of a stage around him in terms of where he keeps. In the physical world, we would actually walk around, and there are different levels of the stage as well, and they all have a meaning. The second element that you saw was the protagonist. What we very quickly demonstrated to you was also how do you choose a protagonist, because there were 5 people who wanted to have, who had a topic. But through the protagonist, while the protagonist is working on his or her topic, everybody, as you can see, is also working with their own inner process. The third element of psychodrama that we call is auxiliaries. Now, when we're working in a group, today we consciously, Swastika and I consciously demonstrated one technique, which is of just one-on-one, because we wanted to demonstrate it in a coaching context. But if you're working with a group, we actually would have auxiliaries. So as an example, Shiva, as a director, I might invite Shiva to pick up somebody from the group who would play the 40-year-old experienced Shiva, and I would invite Shiva to pick up somebody from the group to be the 1.5-month-old new Shiva, right? So there are auxiliaries, as you can see in the picture as well. The fourth role is of the director, the person who's choreographing and managing the process. And the fifth one is the audience. Now, unlike many other schools of thought, every one of these elements plays a key part. So if you saw the audience, today we actually broke up the audience into 2 steps. We had the volunteer group as the first level of audience, and you saw that the audience was also working with themselves and was very much in touch with the process. And you also saw how beautifully, even though it was virtual, there's several of you in the wider audience of 90-odd people who were also working with themselves. So in psychodrama, we say it is completely unscripted. It is about being emergent. It is about working with the here and now, the present, and allowing the action. And then I saw that in the chat box, someone talking about jumping into action as well. And absolutely, psychodrama is all about, enabling the action to actually speak up and talk about it. And Swastika talked about it as well. It is by the group, of the group, and for the group as well. Swastika, anything that you want to add to this description?
No, just the whole thing of saying that while we use the group process right now, when we are doing it individually, we are still doing the 3 stages. We are doing the warm-up. We still do a warm-up. We still do a little bit of the actual play, the coaching, and then we do look at the integration process. So as the director, whether it is me or Shabri or someone else, will actually then share something about how we experience the play as well, and then kind of help the protagonist to be able to integrate. That's the only difference that I see in the group process. Yeah?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Because we are exploring how we can leverage the gift of psychodrama for coaching, we really, Swastika and I have just put down these 2 things, and there may be other things that will emerge for you as well, as you're all coaches too, and as you watch the process. What is similar and what is different as well. So yes, in coaching too, you allow the client to explore the topic that they wish to work on. We have the ICF competencies, which talk about how you stay present, etc. So you saw that there is a similarity with that as well, in terms of staying present, creating the trust and safety, listening, allowing for the client to actually work. The difference in these 2 roles, the way that we hold it at least, and there's no right or wrong in this, is that while in coaching there's a lot of verbal exchange, there's thoughts, feelings, and some bit of action. In psychodrama, we do leverage a lot of the movement. So we provide some triggers, but there's a lot of working with the spontaneity and the creativity of the moment, and we don't know what will emerge. So it's about submitting to the process as well. So I saw in the chat pod that there was a question, I forget who, I'm not reading it right now, about why I didn't work with something else. And, as a psychodrama director, if I were to watch this video again and the recording, there would be a part of me which will recognize, oh, I could have worked with that also. I could have asked, the protagonist this too. It can go in many directions, we don't know. But when you are staying in the moment and present, you just submit to what emerges spontaneously to the client and you in that moment. Yeah. So you're walking alongside the client, and in addition, the director is also keeping a huge eye out on the group as well. So you notice, for example, how we asked for the sharing from the group, because the group is also working with the protagonist. And that's a very important part of psychodrama, because just when the protagonist has almost sort of ended their play, the audience is actually warmed up to talk about themselves. Yeah, so it's a movement that's constantly happening. There's always a dynamic that's happening out there, and so the director has to work closely on all fronts as well. So that's a little bit about the process. As I said, it's a very quick demo. I wish we could say that, you know, the many different elements, like most, you know, chances are you all are excited and you want to know about a little bit more. If several of you are keen to understand a little bit more about psychodrama through reading, well, there is the Institute Vedadrama, from where both Swastika and I trained for several years. So you can look up the resources there. We were trained by a gentleman, Jochen. You see his name on the, as one of the authors of the Fundamentals of Psychodrama, and Falco as well. That's a great book that's been recently released. It was originally in German, released in, translated into English, and The Essential Moreno. So any of you who are keen to read up, these would be wonderful books for you to take up. And if you have any more questions, reach out to Vedadrama. If you wish to get, if you wish to immerse yourself, there are many ways in which you can do that too. And of course, there's time for questions. And Swastika, chip in, yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop
so
sharing.
There was one question just now asking what are the caveats in psychodrama, if any. So that was one question. And of course, there were other questions about how do we contact, how do we learn more. So I put the Vedadrama link in our contact there. Yeah,
sure. Yeah. So I think one of the caveats, and Swastika
yeah.
add in as well, I think one of the caveats that we say is that, and similar, and you always have to ensure trust and safety is there in the process all throughout. And the caveat is also that you work with what emerges for the client in the current moment. Yeah. But the difference is, does that mean that we're not working with the past? Like I think one of the group members said, if we had worked a little bit more deeply, chances are that the protagonist would have found connections with several other things as well. But the one caveat we also say in psychodrama is work with the present moment much more than what you're doing with either the past. Yeah, so you work with the present, you bring in the future as well, because the future is there already with us. So those would be the two caveats: ensuring trust and safety all the time, and making sure that you stay and work with the present. Swastika, anything you want to add?
And I think that, given the root of psychodrama, yeah, there might be, you know, people coming in with other kinds of topics that they would like to work with. I think it's important to be able to really get a clear idea of the topic and to again look at what is it that we can work with as coaches, what goes into the terrain of therapy, what goes into some other, line of work, and then to be able to work with that. That would be a caveat. And the second is that while it might seem easy to do, and we might look at it as saying, okay, I can do this tomorrow, I think it just takes a little more effort because, you know, you do need to kind of keep a whole lot of, watch out. What's happening with the group? For example, if you're working in a group, what's happening with the protagonist? What's happening all over? And then to be able to direct the protagonist in a meaningful way. Yeah? So there is much more to it.
And Ketaki, to your question, absolutely. There is a lot of, similar, Gestalt also talks about the role reversal, talks about the empty chair technique, etc. as well. That's very often used in gestalt therapy, and yes, in psychodrama too. There are some nuances, of course, like every school will have its own nuances, but there's a lot of similarity, and there is a similarity in terms of roots, absolutely. And you may have something that's emerged for you as a similar root, something that, yeah. Any other questions? And questions from the volunteer group as well? You're no longer the audience, you're now a learner like the rest of us. A question if you have, we'd be happy to answer that.
I have a question.
Yes, so there was a question here. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Swastika. You can finish that. I can ask it.
Yeah. There was a question on the group from Divya on the chat. When integrating it in a coaching session, the structure of goal, exploration, awareness, action, framework still holds, right? So yes, of course it does.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we really do look at anchoring the person at the end of it with something that they can kind of then use to continue taking action and taking it forward from there.
Ketaki, you had a question or an insight that you want to add?
Actually, I had a question, and I was just thinking that if we were to, and of course, without getting trained, we probably won't do this. But while we may not go so intense and just utilize psychodrama, but there are these little experiments that we all do, right? And think of an object that represents something, and stuff like that, which you don't really have to be trained in psychodrama. These are some small little things. But I'm just wondering that as we're exploring, and I've done things like what is this? If someone says this is what represents and what is it, and give me the story behind it, etc. I'm just wondering how, in a one-on-one session, could you set the stage for the person to get into that zone of thinking, reflecting, sharing? So what's that process? And then when there's, right now it was just 15 minutes, but maybe you could have, in a longer session, you kind of touch something very deep.
Oh, yes.
Right? And I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, that it's important to somewhere tie it up well before you let go of your coachee, right? You can't just leave the wounds open. You have to make sure. So I'm just wondering, how do you talk to these two bookends, if I may use the word, to the session?
Swastika, go ahead and take that and I'll add on. Yeah. I'm just adding some juice to my laptop as well.
Sure. So I'm just going to share some very recent experiences, Ketaki, that, when I've been doing some coaching, many people are not aware of psychodrama. So I do start off sometimes with a regular approach to coaching. And then I will stop at some point and I would say, if you're okay with it, I'm going to try some psychodrama techniques with you. And most people are generally okay with that. Yeah, and it does take a little bit of an explanation to be able to share how do you use it, how do you kind of approach it. With some people, and I just look at the context and say, okay, how much movement, how much to do, using your wisdom as a coach at that point of time, and working through. Do the session sometimes take longer? Yes. And you're right, we do not leave the person in any situation. I'm sure even in coaching, we don't leave the person until they are actually there's some sense of saying, okay, this is where I would like to kind of take this. And that's important here too. And there are different kinds of issues that we can work with. I'm combining your question with other questions that have come up on the chat right now. And there are different kinds, like a couple of days ago, I worked with somebody who was looking at, the choice making, or looking at, how do I kind of really look at a very new ambiguous situation in my life right now? How do I kind of deal with the anxiety around it? So while we generally kind of in psychodrama, we tend to use the interpersonal challenges and topics a lot more. We do find ways to be able to embody some of the feelings, some of the emotions, and try to work with that also in a coaching session. I hope that helps to answer your question.
Yeah, it partially answers my question, but I guess I'm just thirsty for so much more. I'm going to stop here.
And we'd love to continue the conversation. Thank you. We recognize that it's also time. We were just delighted that you all wanted to join us for this. I hope, Swastika, and I've given you a sort of a glimpse into this fascinating world. And I hope some of you decide to take that journey forward as well. Yeah. Reach out for any way that we can help you. Thank you to everyone else that's dialed in as well. We're going to stay on and read a little bit more of the chat pod too.